This is a tinder nest that I made from cedar bark and wild lettuce, dried fluffy flower heads. Try the farrow first. I think that's burning well enough. I could have got a fire going with it. I can repeatedly bring it to flame. I'd say that's burning pretty good. I really took my time this time and crushed that cedar bark up really fine, and I mixed those little lettuce seed heads in there really good, and then I let it sit for a good 20-30 minutes, because when it's real hot your hands are all sweaty, so when you're shredding that stuff all up you're making it wet with the sweat from your hands. And I think that might have been my problem the other day when I was out in the woods. I was rushed because the mosquitoes were biting me and it was hot, and I tried shredding this stuff up, these different materials, and I didn't give it enough time to dry off from the sweat from my hands, and I didn't take enough time to shred it up real fine because I was just getting assaulted by mosquitoes. Now I'm going to go ahead and try the mish metal, which really, this should work. The only real difference is lack of control with the mish metal. My chaga finally burned away to nothing. I see it smoldering. Those were from the ferrule rod. It's out of there. I'm going to shut this video off and try something else with that. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the mesh metal experiment. Mesh metal versus ferrocerium. Personally, I like the ferrocerium better because it's more controllable. I think it would be a fair comparison if I had an equally sized mesh metal rod compared to the ferrocerium, because I think that makes a huge difference regardless of which one you use. I think this is a good size, and I believe that looks like 3/8. Somebody said that was 1/2 inch, but it doesn't quite look like 1/2 inch. Maybe it is. But I prefer the ferrocerium over the mesh metal just because it has better control, and I've even seen videos on YouTube and stuff, and it seems like the larger mesh metal rods, they throw a lot more sparks than the small ones, but they kind of just throw them all over the place. The one benefit is the sparks from the mesh metal burn longer. They'll sit there and sizzle, and you can also scrape a pile up if you need to, and that might help you, whereas you can't really do that with ferrocerium. But that's pretty much it for my experiment with the two different types of rods. I'm gonna stick with the ferro rod and using my big knife there to strike it. It really messes up your knife. Actually, most of this is from the mesh metal. I don't think the ferro rod would do that much welding on your knife, but I don't care about this knife anyway. It's just a cheap knife. Over the past few days, I've been experimenting with different man-made fire starters. Magnesium bar, mesh metal rod, and ferrocerium rod. And I kind of decided that I like the ferro rod the best. I don't like the mag bar because when you scrape off the shavings, if there's any wind, they blow all over. It's hard to keep the shavings in a pile. When you do get a nice pile, they burn up really fast, so you don't have much time to get something in there to ignite. When the shavings are wet, they will not ignite. So I pretty much threw that out. That's not going to be in my kit anymore whatsoever. I did take the mesh metal rod off of it, because the nice thing about this is you can shave off little pieces and you can strike it. The sparks go everywhere, but the little pieces will burn for a somewhat extended period of time, which may help you get a fire going if you need to. So I will keep that in my kit. I won't be relying on it as much as my ferro rod though. One thing I like about the ferro rod is you get very consistent sparks, and with this one, being it has a nice big handle, I can put it right into my tinder and nice and slow, without much effort, I can get good consistent sparks all going right into my tinder. And also I can take the ferro rod and soak it in water, and it still throws sparks even when it's soaking wet. Not too shabby. The last two strikes were on areas that hadn't had the coating scraped off, but that's going to be my go-to other than a lighter in the field. I mean, actually I'll probably end up just using this instead of a lighter. It seems just as easy, and I don't know, maybe almost in some cases easier than using a lighter. But that's it. I do like using my knife to strike it because I get better leverage with the longer handle, and I can angle my knife so that when it hits, it stops above my tinder and I don't mush my tinder or throw it off to the side. And I can repeatedly strike over and over and over and over again. It doesn't wear my hands out. I'm good to go. So for me, it's the ferro rod. This sparker does work nice, but it doesn't throw as much sparks as my knife does because I get better leverage with the knife. And that's pretty much it. It'll be the ferro rod for me when I'm out in the woods in the rain or snow or heat of summer.